Right, everyone. Hello. Welcome to today's seminar. As you probably understood, the working language will be English, but we all expect people who's dealing with experts will speak English. So basically, the aim of this seminar, we're always trying to find things which are kind of interesting or might be important for Ukrainian exporters. We know that Ukraine currently sells quite well to neighboring countries, to Germany. However, markets like France, Benelux, Spain, Portugal, I would say, seems to be like a terra incognita. So that's why we invited, and we're really thankful for Stefan from Experto Consulting. He is based in France, he's French, he's working with the French market to share information, how to work in the French market, what to look at, common mistakes, and any other useful information that he feels is important for Ukrainian exporters. Couple of points. If you have a question, since we discussed with Stefan beforehand that he hates monologues, so if you have a questions, just raise your hand and we'll let you ask them while he's presenting. If not, then just keep them for the end. Roughly will take about an hour. We should be done by 12:15. So that's for me. Welcome on behalf of Ukrainian Expert Alliance, and now I will pass the floor to Stefan with his presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Stefan. Okay, I am one of the partners of Experto Consulting, which is a business development company, entry-market company, with a few offices and one office is in France, which I manage. Okay. For myself, I know already Ukraine because first time I was in Ukraine, it was in '92. Okay. And we are helping a lot of European companies to work in Ukraine. And we are helping also a lot of Ukrainian companies on the French market in different sectors, in food, textiles, toys, and so on. Okay. So today I will do a short presentation of the French food market, including a spirit market also. I will not go in detail because I think after this presentation, Kirilo and Dimitro will send you the presentations. As already Dimitro told, I hate monologues, so if you have any questions, don't wait the end of the presentation. You can ask your questions during the presentation. Okay, so I will share the presentation. Okay, I think you saw the presentation, it's good. So I already introduced our company. As I told you, we are a development business company. We have a lot of clients in food sector. I put some of references, so you will see some big European group, and we'll have some references. So in France, we have mainly in food sector, we have European clients, including some Ukrainian clients. For example, we have already worked for one company, one Ukrainian company which exports snails, and one company which exports pumpkin seeds in France from Ukraine. About the France, some facts. So France is around 68 million inhabitants, of which 66 are living in what we call the metropole. It means that in Paris, Marseille, and so on, as you know, probably France, due to the colonization, have a few land like Martinique, Guyane, and so on. So we have some departments, some regions, which are outside the metropole of France. Okay. The France is the 21st more important position by populations in the world. And what is very interesting for you and for business, that in France, we have around 30 million households, okay? And the average of household in France is around 2.2 persons by household. What is also interesting for your business, that in France, we have more than 45 cities than 100,000 inhabitants. Okay, as you will see in the age pyramid, France is an old country. Okay, we have less and less young people, but we have more and more older people. You have a map of the France. Everyone, I think, know Paris, but France is not only Paris. It's many cities, and for business, it's very important because you can find some national distributor, but in France, in food sector, for example, we have a lot of regional food distributor, which will work only in some regions, for example, southeast of France, north of France, or east of France. Some fact about the French economy. France is one of the largest economy in the world, is the 7th largest economy in the world, okay? And France accounted for 17% of European GDP, okay? GDP per capita in France is around 46,000 euros by people, okay? What is very important also in food sector, that France is a very important country for tourism. Last year, we have more than 102 million international visitors in France. Not only in Paris, but in whole France. And tourism contributes to 7-8% of the French GDP. And it employs around 2 million people in France. Some fact about the French economy, because it can impact your development in France. So France is a leading agricultural producer in Europe and one of the world's largest exporters of agriculture and food products. Okay. If we speak about the French economy and it can impact the business for you in France, so we have a small GDP growth each year. For example, this year it will be around 1%. Okay, and next year the forecast for the growth of GDP is around 2.5%. Okay, so as you saw, it's not a very fast booming country. Okay. If we speak about the foreign trade of France, is currently for the good in deficit. Last year it was around 56 billion euro deficit. Okay, for the services, it's not in benefits. If we speak about the trade between France and Ukraine, so in 2024, this is the last information available, the trade between our two countries was around 2,000 million euros, 2 billion euros, okay. French export was around 1.1 billion euro. French import from Ukraine was around 909 million euro. What is very interesting for food sector, that's 406 million euro was importing from Ukraine, was vegetable and animal oil and fat, and also the meal. France also import around 175 million euro crops and livestock products, and around 51 million euros about fruit and vegetable products, including a juice. Okay. As you know, in Ukraine, we have a lot of French companies which are already involved. The most famous are Auchan, Leroy Merlin, and others. Okay. So you have the trend of the evolution between the France-Ukraine trade. So it was a short presentation of the French of France. I don't know if you have some question at this stage. If you don't have any questions, I will present you the French food industry. No question? Okay. So, as I told in my presentation, France is one of the European larger and most diversified food industry in Europe. Okay, we have around 23,000 companies involved in the production of food in France. It's approximately 500,000 employees. Okay, and the turnover of the French food industry is around 250 billion euro. Okay, and the French food industry is using around 70% of the French agriculture productions. Okay, many French food companies are middle-sized and small companies. Okay, you have a map of the French food industry. So as you see, the main regions of production of food products are Brittany. It is in the west part of the France. This is the south of France, southeast of France, and the southwest, because we have a lot of productions of fruit and vegetable. And this is also what we call Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes regions, which is near Lyon, which is in southeast of France. Okay. If we speak about the distributions in France, we have several channels for distributions. Okay. But the turnover of the food retail is around 180 million euros, excluding VAT. Okay, we have around 44,000 general food retailer outlets across the whole country. Okay, this is generalist shops, and we have around 80,000, 90,000 specialized food retail outlets. It means bakery and pastry retail, butcher, fruit and vegetable specialist, cheese shop, fishmonger, and so on. Yeah, this can be a channel important for you if you want to work through distributor in France, because these small shops are buying their goods through wholesalers. Okay. If you are in the French fresh food market, we have also what we call in France some mine. This is a national market. It is very used for fruit and vegetable, for examples. The most well-known market is Rungis. Maybe some of you have already visited Rungis. This is in south of Paris, and this is a big wholesale market with more than 100 wholesalers, which are their logistic center in Rungis. So across France, we have 18 official such markets. We have in south, in west, and so on. Okay. And if you want to work in France through a wholesaler, through a distributor, we have around 20,000 food wholesaler in France, who are generating approximately 11 billion euro turnover. Another channel in order to sell in France is a retail chain. Okay. In France, we have around 360 different retail chains, which represent around 30,000 outlets. Okay. Retail chain is a very important channel in France because it's accounting for 80% of the food retail turnover in France. Okay. Last year, the turnover of retail chain was around 151 billion euro. Okay. Which trend have this retail chain? The retail sector support consumer in their shopping by balancing quality, food safety, and innovation. Okay. What is important for a retailer is maintaining purchasing power, the food transitions to organic and ecological, reducing waste, decarbonizing operations, supporting French agricultural sector, developing more suitable products, and improving their customer experience. So I put some table with main retail chain in France. First one is distribution of the channel. So you will see in detail, and I will not go through in details, but you have sector by sector the number of shop and the total area. Okay. So you have hypermarket, supermarket, and so on. If we speak about the main retail chain in France, so if we speak about the turnover, first one is Leclerc, okay. Second one is Intermarché, with more than 2,000 shops in France. Third one is what we call Coopérative U. They have several brands. They have Super U, they have Hyper U, okay. Fourth one is Carrefour. I think many of you know Carrefour. And fifth one is Lidl, which is a hard discounter. If we speak about their share, the most important is Leclerc, which have 25% of share of the market. Second one is Carrefour with 21%. Third one is Groupement Les Mousquetaires, it means Intermarché. And the fourth one is Coopérative U with 12% of the market. Auchan, which is very well known in international market, have already 8% of the market in France. What is the trend for retail chains in France? Is to reduce the shop area, because, for example, you have some Carrefour or Auchan that have more than 30,000 square meter shops. No, it's not so efficient, so they change their model and they try to reduce their area, and they are more and more working inside their shop, hypermarket, for example, in a shop-in-shop. For example, in some Auchan hypermarket, now you can find some Leroy Merlin department inside Auchan. Yeah, it's what we call shop-in-shop. We have also in France a lot of organic retail chains. The most important of them is Biocoop, okay, with around 740 shops across France. They are selling only organic products, okay? It means for the business and by experience, if you want to work also with a general retail chain and organic retail chains, usually organic retail chains, they don't like to sell the same products you can find in general retail chains. It means that if you want to work with a Carrefour and Biocoop, you must have two different brands. Okay, one for Carrefour, one for Biocoop. I don't speak about private label. I just speak about your own brand, because organic chains, they want to sell exclusive brand for organic. Okay. One of the most important channels also in France is the HoReCa sector. As I told you, we have around 102 million international visitors each year. Okay. We have around 180,000 restaurants in France. Okay. Which generates around 120 billion euro revenue by year. Okay. I put some detail, you will see, but the average bill for dining out in France is around 16 euros in restaurant and 23 online. Okay. In France, as many countries, we have a lot of fast food restaurants also. Okay, we have around 157,000 restaurants, which generates around 36 million euros. Okay, and I put also some statistics about the number of hotels. So we have around 15,400 hotels and more that with 40,000 bars and coffee. Okay. So in HoReCa, we have, of course, restaurant, hotel, and so on. And we have also what we call in France catering. Okay, for organizations, it means we have some wholesalers which are dedicated to deliver food product to school, company canteens, administration canteens, and so on. Okay. We have also quite a lot of number of franchising. I think everybody know Paul, but we have not only Paul in France. We have La Croissanterie for bakery. We have Hippopotamus for restaurant chain, Courtepaille, and so on. So it can be also an interesting niche sector for you. And usually, for the HoReCa sector, we have some wholesaler, national or regional wholesaler, which are dedicated to this hospitality sector. I put some names that everyone maybe know: Transgourmet, Cisco, DS Restaurant. We have also Metro Cash and Carry in France, Promo Cash, and so on. So these wholesalers are only dedicated to HoReCa sector. Okay. The difference of metro between France and Ukraine, yeah. For example, that's in France, if you have a private person, you can't go to metro in France. It's only a professional. Okay. I don't know if you have some questions about the French distribution channel. No questions? Okay. Some example of sectors. Okay. So first one is milk and dairy products. So I put some figures. You will have the presentation as I told you. Okay. About the French productions. So in France, we produce around 8 million tons of dairy products each year. About the consumptions. So French people consume 50 kilogram milk by person by year, 26 kilogram of cheese, 8 kilogram of butter. Okay. And what is very important, and consumer pay attention also, they pay attention to the what we call in France protected designation of origin, PDO. Okay, because we have around 1,200 different kind of cheese in France, and each region have its own cheese and his own PDO. Okay. If we speak about meat and breeding, okay, so you have some figures about the French productions, but you have some figures about the French consumption. French people are eating around 30 kilograms of meat each year, 29 kilos of poultry, 21 kilo of beef, 14 kilograms of eggs, and 2.3 kilo of sheep and goats, and 700 grams of honey. If we speak about confectionery, okay, the French market of confectionery is estimated to 1.6 billion euros. Okay. 20 million French people are regularly consume confectionery. Okay. We have the French spend around 41 euro per household each year on confectionery products. Okay. And 80% of the market sales are generated to hypermarket, supermarket. Okay. If we speak about the sauce market, it worth in France around 1.2 billion euro. Okay. Cold sauces market is around 650 million euro. Hot sauces is around 400 million euro, and seasoning sauces are around 130 million euro. Okay, the most important sauces sales in France are ketchup, cooking sauces, barbecue, and mayonnaise. Okay, and tomato sauce also. If we speak about pasta, okay, the market is estimated to 573,000 tons. 65% of pasta are imported abroad. Okay, and the market turnover is around 695 million euros. Okay, so France is the second largest importer of pasta in Europe. Okay, and of course the first supplier is Italy. Okay, and the average consumption of pasta in France is around 8.7 kilograms by capita. I will go through wine because nobody is involved in wine today. If we speak about the spirit market in France, the consumption of spirits in France is around 2.5 liters of pure alcohol by year and by person. Okay. The top three categories are whiskey, anisette, and rums. Anisette, you know, in France, we have this special drink called the pastis. Okay. And also what we call the white spirit, including vodka, have good sales in France. Okay. And of course, the HoReCa channel is very important for spirit sector, because more than 20 million liters are sold each year in the HoReCa sector. Okay. I put some detail also, but we go quickly. But the most well-known vodka in France is Polyakov. Okay. And the main country import vodka are Poland, Sweden, and USA. But Poland have a big share of the importing vodka in France. Okay. And there is more than 30 importers, wholesalers, which are dealing with spirits in France. Okay. Due to our experience, I have put a short list, is not exhaustive, of Ukrainian products that can be interesting for the French market. Okay. First one is grain and pulses, okay, including organic ones, okay. There is a lot of French wholesalers which are importing such products, and they are interesting by Eastern Europe suppliers. Cereals, honey, but more honey in bulk. We have quite a lot of big players for honey in France, and I know that already some Ukrainian companies are selling honey in France through distributor. Okay, frozen berry, including IKF frozen berries and some other fruit. Okay. Because in the food in French industry, we have a lot of companies which are transforming berries, so it can be interesting for Ukrainian supplier. The most well-known is Andros. I think you already heard about Andros, but we have also some specialists in frozen food like Boiron, Capri, Descours, and so on. Oil and fat can be also interesting for French market. Egg products, not themselves, not eggs, but some products, some ingredients about eggs. It can be interesting for French market. Snails, okay. What we call in France escargot de Burgundy snails. French company is forbidden to take in France, so they are buying in Eastern Europe. Walnut, I know that with Moldova, Ukraine is one of the suppliers of walnuts in France. Okay, some meat products like poultry, some milk products also. For spirit, vodka, ingredient for food industry. As you have seen, we have a huge food industry sector in France. So if you are exporting some ingredients, it can be interesting for the food industry, but also for HoReCa. Okay. I think French company can have an interest also on packaging, eco-friendly packaging. Okay, because as you know, in France, it's since a few years it's forbidden to use plastic packaging. So there is a quite big development on eco-friendly packaging right now. And one important also opportunities for you, that's France could serve as a re-export platform for Africa. In France, we have a lot of wholesalers which are dedicated to Africa or to our island. And for example, Carrefour have a dedicated company branch dedicated to export. Is the same for Intermarché, which have a company called G-Procor, which is working only to the export and not to the internal market of France. I don't know if you have some questions about the different sectors. No questions? Okay. French business practices and advices. So I will give you some tips due to my experience with our client in the French market. Okay. First, I will begin by some stereotypes. Okay. France, for foreign people, it's always the land of gastronomy, fashion, culture, history, and art, and what we call in French, bon vivre. If we translate in English, it means good life, or in Italian, dolce vita. Okay? If you want to work with French people, you must to understand that French people are not German or Nordic people. Okay, we have a Southern Europe culture, Latin culture. Okay, it means concretely that if you have an appointment at 10, if you will arrive with 5 or 10 minutes late, it's not a problem. Okay. For French people. Okay, it means also, and we will see after, that we are more flexible than if we compare to German or Nordic buyers. Okay. One interesting thing also, France is a big country, it's a huge country, so there is usually Paris. Okay. And there is the rest of the country, what we call provinces. Okay, and in the provinces, you have the north and the south. For myself, I am located in south of France. We don't have the same culture than in north of France. It means that you have to take in account when you are doing business. Okay. The French are usually arrogant and pretentious. Okay, they can come across cold and unsmiling, especially in big cities like Paris. Yeah, in province, usually the people are more sympathetic and more open. Okay, in France, we like to complain, to grumble. Okay, I will give you a concrete fact. For example, in France, we have a lot of strike. Okay, so if you come in France and you want to travel, you must be sure that there is no strike in train, in transport, and so on. Okay, and usually the French people are welcoming people after first meeting or after first call. How to do business with French people? Okay. First one is to build a relationship of trust. Okay. French people often prefer to do business with people they know or who have recommended to them. It's the network is very important in France. Okay. Initial meetings are often used to assess the other party's reliability and credibility. Okay. And don't forget that a lot of French companies and small and medium-sized companies are family-run business company since several decades or several centuries. Okay. For example, you can meet some company in food sector that was created as the 19th century and so on. Okay, with a big background of history. Okay. If you want to enter the French market, you must to be prepared. Okay, you must to have some solid data, figures, and arguments. Okay, French buyers are very concrete. Okay, and as I told you before, the French appreciate in depth discussions and detailed analysis. Okay, if the buyer is very interested by your product, it means that the meeting can be more than 1 hour. Okay. If you want, we have a few rules of courtesy in France. Always start by hello, bonjour in French. Okay. And use monsieur, madame, bonjour monsieur, bonjour madame. Okay. And when you have already some contacts and some regular contacts with your buyer or with your partner, you can switch what we call in France le tutoiement. Okay. it means that it's more a friendly relation with your partnership. Okay. And what is very important in France, this is a handshake. Okay, because in France, at the beginning and at the end of the meeting, you have to handshake your partner or the people. Some advice, if you want to enter the French market, you must to be patient during negotiations. Okay, decision can take time because sometimes French parts want to go in details and will ask some argument with some fact and so on. Okay. As I told you before, don't be afraid about criticism. As I told you, French love complain. So French enjoy also debating and questioning ideas. Okay. And sometimes they will tell you some criticism, but it's not to you personally. What is very important also in order to enter the French market, it's to be aware of the rules. Okay. Of course, in the food sector, we have the European rules, but sometimes we have also some national rules. Okay. That's more stronger than European rules. Okay. So you must to be aware of European, but also some about French rules. Okay. Important subject also is quality and emphasizes quality. French customers generally value quality, service, and expertise. So it means that it's not only a question of price. Okay. You must also, in order to enter the French market, you must to maintain your network. Trade fair and different events are very important in France. I will show you after the different show we have in the food sector. Okay. But you must to come regularly to this show. It's not you will exhibit only one time to the show that you will have some clients. You have to exhibit several times to the same show in order to find some clients, because the first year the French buyer will see the stand. Okay. Maybe they will enter, maybe they will enter on your booth. Okay. Second year they will come, say, Ukrainian company, this Ukrainian company is here for the second time. So they are more interested to know why you are here and what you are buying. And the third time they will go to your booth and they will meet you. Okay. So if you want to enter the French market, it's a question of time, and you must to be patient. Okay. If you want to take a meeting, to set up a meeting with a French buyer or French company, you have to set up at least 2 weeks in advance. Okay. I'm quite often traveling. In some countries, you can phone the day before and say, hello, I will be tomorrow. In France, it's not working like this. Okay. Buyers, import department, they have a lot of work to do. They receive a lot of offer. So it's better if you send them a mail 2-3 weeks before you're coming in France. Okay. So usually the typical work week in France is Monday to Friday. Okay. This is theoretical. In fact, more and more French people are working not in the office, but in home. Okay. Wednesday, if you are a woman, we have what we call in France la journée des mamans, Maman Day. It means that a lot of women don't work Wednesday. Okay. because they have some children. Okay. Don't forget that the official week of work in France is 35 hours by week. It means that in some company, Friday is not a non-working day. It's a non-working day in some companies. Okay. It depends of their working schedule all the other day of the day. Okay. In terms of languages, buyer and import department in French company, they speak at minimum English and some other language. Okay. For manager like CEOs and general manager, most of them are speaking English, but if you are working with a small company, with a small clients, is not sure that the general manager will speak English. Okay, his import department, his buying department will speak English, but not the general manager. Okay, we have the same situation with French company which want to export. Sometimes the general manager is not speaking English for export. Okay. Regarding the dress code, it's more or less formal. Frankly speaking, we have less and less meeting in smoking. Okay, so you can be dressed in casual jeans and so on. It is not a problem. Okay, if you don't have any important meeting with a CEO of a big groups or administrations on so on. Yeah. Information how to do business with French company. What kind of partners should I choose in France? So you have several ways to work in France. First one is importers, distributor, wholesaler. In my opinion, for foreign companies and for Ukrainian companies, is a more easier way to work and to enter the French market. Okay, because for example, they will manage a relation with a French customer and with French retail chains. And handle also the import of the product in France. The main challenge in order to work with a wholesaler or importer, that you don't have the control of the development of your brand in the market. So it means that sometimes you will sell to your distributor, wholesaler, but he will not say to you where himself he is selling. So you don't know where your product can be found on the French market. Okay. Second way to work on the French market, this is a retail chain with your own brand. Okay. For foreign company, for foreign brands, it's very difficult if you have no budget, no marketing budget. Okay. Because they will first stress you on price, okay, and they will also asking a lot of marketing budget and money. First one in France we have a listing fee. I think it's the same in Ukraine. Okay, they will asking marketing budget, okay, for promotions of your product. Some of the chains are working also with back margin. So at the end of the year, you must pay some back margin to them. And what is very important in order to work with retail chains, that's a lot of them will ask you to do some tasting in store. Okay, that it means you will manage yourself the tasting in stores. So it means it's more easier to have a distributor that can manage it. Okay. It's more interesting to work with retail chain directly with retail chain for private label because you don't need any marketing budget. Okay. Buyers are looking only for a price and for quality. Okay. And the last way to work in France we have a lot of what we call the VRP, commercial agent or commercial agency. they generally ask commission around between 3 and 6-7% of turnover. The only thing that if you want to cover all the French market, you need to have at minimum 5 or 6 different commercial agents. How to do business with French company? Some advice and by experience. Okay, most of the French companies will ask you DDU or DDP offers. Okay, they don't want to be in charge of the transport. Okay, some retail chain and some national distributor which have several logistic platforms across France will ask you to deliver them directly. Okay. If you have stock in Poland or in other European countries, it's a big advantage. Okay. You must to have international certificates. I put some of them, IFC, HACCP, ISO, organic, and so on. Okay. If you have some European or international references, or local references for French or European companies. For example, if you are working with Metro or Auchan in Ukraine, it can be useful to enter Auchan in France and so on. Okay. Build trust by transparency. Okay. In France, we love new due diligence and so on. We love financial data. Okay. So don't worry if your French buyer or your French partner is asking financial information like turnover, result, how many employees are working, okay? Because they are used to. And on the other hand, if you are looking for some financial data of French company, it's very easy to find in France because every French company have to give his financial data to the French fiscal administrations. So we have a few websites where you can find for each French company, date of creation, capital, turnover, result, and so on. Okay, so you can. It's why French company like to have such informations. Okay, have at least a website in English, because if you have nothing in English, there is no way to prospect the French market. Okay, if you have in French, of course, it's better. Okay, and find out about the legislation currently in force for your products in France. If you want, for example, I'll give you an example. If you want to export honey or organic honey, it will be not the same procedure for import in France, and it will be not the same custom hub in France. Okay. And last thing is to include French language on your packaging. Last thing, some French show regarding the food and wine and spirit sector. So first one is NatExpo, which is more dedicated to organic products. NatExpo is once a year, one time in Lyon. So this year it will be in Lyon, and next year it will be in Paris. Okay. Cial, I know that a lot of Ukrainian companies will exhibit to Cial. CIRA, which is more dedicated to HoReCa sector. Next edition of CIRA will take place next January. For Wine Paris, each year in February. For exporters of ingredient and food equipment, CFIA in Rennes, which will take in March next year. If you have some gourmet products, we have some dedicated show called Gourmet Selection, once a year in June. Okay. The same for cheese and milk products. We have some dedicated show, and the next one will be Mondial du Fromage, cheese worldwide show in September 2027. My advice in order to exhibit or to visit this show is to prepare the trade fair in order to take B2B meetings in advance. And when I told in advance, it's 1 or 2 months before the show. Because, for example, for the SIAL, I know how buyers, for example, retail chain buyers are working. If you don't take any appointment 1 month before, they will have already some full program. Usually, they will visit their current supplier. After, they will visit the new supplier, which have take contact with them before the show. And unfortunately, if you don't have take any contact before the show, you don't have so much chance to meet them during the show. Okay. Okay. And regarding the partnership we have with Ukrainian Export Alliance, we can set up B2B meetings for SIAL. And if you are exhibiting to SIAL, it can be on the booth. If you are visiting, it can be during the SIAL show and outside. We can also do some market study, okay, some retail tour. Okay, and we usually visit the international show like SIAL, Sierra, Tutto Food in Milano, Anuga, Golf Food, and so on. Okay, so I will reply to the questions.
Yes, if you may, we would. If you may, the questions in the chat because there are plenty of it. So yeah, back to the first question that was asked. What about confectionery market, hard candies and lollipops with natural ingredients? What's the state of the market in France about this?
For confectionery?
Yeah.
Yeah. For confectionery, we have already we have a lot of producers in France. Okay, because practically each region of France have its own regional confectionery. For example, I'm living in southeast of France near Montélimar, and we have what we call nougat. Okay, but this is regional confectionery. If we speak about confectionery market on the retail chain and so on, there is some place for very specific and innovative confectionery. Okay. If you are selling some chocolate, some standard chocolates, you will find against you a big player, big international group. So if you want to enter the French market, you must have some innovative products, natural products. It's a big plus because organic and natural product is a trend in France. Okay. If you are a producer of ingredients for confectionery, it can be interesting for French market as we have a lot of producers. Okay.
Question two regarding replacing plastic packaging with paper alternatives.
Yeah. So as I told you, in France, plastic packaging is forbidden since 2 years, I think. Yeah. So we had a transition period. Okay. But since these interdictions, the eco-friendly packaging is booming. So if you have some paper packaging and so on, I think in the list you have 2 companies involved in packaging today. So it can be very interesting for the French market, for supermarket, hypermarket, and for HoReCa sector also, and fast food. Yeah, yeah, and for producer also. Yeah. It's the same way. For example, I will give you an example. Before this law, a lot of retail chains sold some plastic forks and so on. Now they are using only carton forks, for example. Yeah. I have questions. we are exhibiting at SIAL this October. What would be your top recommendation for attracting French buyer to our booth? Okay. As I told you, if you are waiting 1 week or 2 weeks before the SIAL, you will have no chance to have so much meeting. You must to prepare the show beginning of September, as now it's a holiday period in France. It means that the 3 first weeks of August are many non-working by a lot of French company and a lot of French people. So, because usually 1 month before the show, buyers have already a complete program of their meetings on the show. Yeah. So if you are waiting the last moment, you have not so much chance to have some meetings. Okay. Because I don't know if it's the first time you will exhibit to the show or not, but SIAL is a huge show. Okay, with several halls. So usually buyers, they will begin by 1 hall. They will take all the meetings in the hall 6, for example. After they will switch to hall 5 and so on. They will not go to one meeting to hall 1 and after to hall 6 because it's crazy in Villepin Park. It's crazy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we have another question here, which I was actually also going to ask. You said 80% of sales are done via chains, via supermarkets. And what's the model in France? Are they do direct purchasing or they work via distributors that are listed? So what is the... Because in Germany, there's lots of distributors who are approved, accredited with the supermarkets, and they sell their products there. What's the situation in France?
In France, most of the wholesalers are working with retail chains. Not for all their range of products, but for many of their range of products, they are working with retail chains. Yeah, but as I told you, retail chains, it's one channel. We have a lot of small shops, and it can be also interesting to begin to export in France, yes. And the HoReCa sector also is very, very important. You have big players, as I told, like Cisco, Transgourmet, and so on. But you have a lot of small players, regional players, yeah. So, and it depends of your strategy on the French market. But frankly speaking, it will be very hard to work directly with retail chains if you have no money, no marketing budget. Okay, I have the case for one well-known Ukrainian brand, which is in confectionery. It's well-known. They wanted to export in France, but they have no budget for marketing, for list fee, and so on. And they can't enter retail chain like Auchan, Carrefour, and so on. Better way to work is to go to wholesaler because they are already working with retail chains since several decades, and they know the buyer, and it's more easier for them to have some meetings to present some new products than if you are a new enter company on the market, and you, yeah.
And distributors, are they working on a percentage basis, or they just negotiate the price and they just sell your product? Or whatever. What's
they will buy your products, they will put their margin, and they will resell after to the retail chain.
So basically, they're trying to get as cheap as possible, whatever you sell for, and then the rest will be their margins.
Yeah.
Right. We have another question regarding, if you have a look, it's from Lucas Company. IFS certification or BRC. I would assume the supermarkets will probably require it, but not necessarily. What do you think?
If you have it, it's if you have IFC or BRC, it's good. Okay, if you have one of them, it's good. It's good. There is no problems. It's of course they will ask because it's a guarantee on quality, on process, and so on. You will see. To have a meeting, it's difficult, but it's not the more difficult, because after, if you work with a wholesaler or with retail chain, as I told you, France is an administrative country. You will to have fill a lot of file and documentation in order to be referenced. Okay. And I don't speak about organic product because it's crazy. I have an experience in pumpkin seeds, organic pumpkin seeds, for example, from Ukraine, and we have spent a lot of time before selling to fill documentations, internal file, and so on of the wholesaler. Okay.
But I think, well, to my good knowledge, IFS or BRC, either will be sufficient. I mean, there's some preferences, but in general, they are both pretty much the equal. What about in France? Is it the same?
Yeah, it's well-known certificate, and it's a guarantee of a process inside, of quality, of safety, and so on. Yeah.
I would say there is no need to have both of them. It will be
no. You must have one of them. Yeah.
Right. I know you said you have time until 1:15, and we now have 2 minutes left. If any quick questions, just the last one, anyone just drop the message now. Otherwise, if you have any questions later you think of, you have our email, just drop us email saying in regard to this seminar with Stefan or French market, and we'll just send, Kirill, thank you, you just send the email, and we will send them to Stefan, and if he knows, he obviously will send us a reply, and we'll send it to you. Otherwise, I would like to thank you, Stefan, for your time, for your advice, overview. I hope it was useful. If it was useful, make likes right now. We'll see who thinks it's useful. So anyhow, thank you. We'll stay in touch, and I hope this at least gave you some idea the way to move, or maybe gave you some more questions actually that you need answered.
Okay, thank you very much.